Hey guys, Dr. Mike Dees, MTFU Longevity Over 50, www.mtfucoach.com. What are the biggest diet mistakes that I see that people make and that I've made myself in the past? I'd probably say extras or condiments or flavorings or spices, things like that. As an example, I've worked with, when I had my nutrition clinic, I worked with a lot of patients and clients. I'd have them, along with the university students, I'd have them write out a diet inventory. Write down everything you eat for the week, everything you eat and drink, absolutely everything, gum, it doesn't matter. Oftentimes people wouldn't be accurate. They wouldn't think that it was important to be thorough. Of course, it would be. I'll take one example. I had a guy who was going in a bodybuilding competition, and he had to get really, really shredded. It wasn't like he had 50 pounds of excess body fat that he had to lose. He was already in fairly decent shape when he started. He was about 15% body fat, which is not bad, but he had to get down into the single digits. So we gave him a really good nutrition plan that I had thought, and he was making great results. But then he started coming in for his weekly check-ins, and he wasn't making any results. Now, I will tell you something. If you implement any type of program, which is fairly good or decent or on point, if you do implement, one of two things is going to happen. You are going to get better or you are going to get worse. You're not going to stay the same. And he was staying the same. So either he was not following or he was adding something, and I probed a little bit, and it turned out, what was he doing? He said, well, I'm having a tablespoon of peanut butter here and there. I said, what's here and there mean? It turned out he was having a tablespoon of peanut butter every single night because he said it would help him sleep. It would affect his satiety center in his brainstem, as I understood it, making him less hungry and not having those hunger pains and whatnot. But we broke it down. I have a container here. I can't read the label because everything is. I've got this Mrs. Dash. You got to have a magnifying glass, so I've got to look on the computer here. But if you're looking at the average 1 tablespoon of peanut butter, you're talking 200 calories. Mostly from fat, 16 grams of total fat, saturated fat 3 grams, so you're talking 200 calories. He's doing that every single night. That's 1,400 calories a week that we were not accounting for. Now, there's about 3,500 calories in a pound of fat, so that's almost half the kilocalorie energy in a pound of fat that he's taking in and we weren't accounting for. And understand this, he was already pretty lean, and the leaner you get, the harder it is to lose that extra fat because your body starts holding on to it. Your body thinks it's being attacked when you are dieting or cutting down or whatever word you want to, adhering to a more focused nutritional plan, because we don't really like the word diet. So that being said, to break down what he was doing, we looked at what we gave him, and in the addition of what he was doing, because he was taking in that peanut butter, the body was using that for fuel as opposed to taking from the fat cells and getting them down into the single digits where we wanted them to be more lean. It wasn't taking the body fat that was stored in the fat cells. It was using that. So we eliminated that, and he got back on track. But that's what happens. And people, I can tell you, I myself, if you want to look at ketchup, if you want to look at something I've always used, salsa on my chicken, on my rice, on whatever protein I might be eating. I was of the school that, even though it says, well, geez, 10 calories per serving, so that's nothing. I would take 4 or 5 servings. Got to get rid of these pop-up ads here. And what would happen? Well, the number one ingredient in both ketchup and salsa, and people think salsa's fine. Ketchup is a little more iffy. We don't really suggest that. Are tomatoes. And tomatoes are fruit, high in sugar. And you got to understand the companies are not ordained by the Food and Drug Administration as far as their labeling. They're very kind of lax. I don't always believe the labels. In fact, if something is below 1 gram, they could put 0. So let's say it's half a gram of carbohydrate per serving. You have a bunch of servings, you're adding up a bunch of grams of carbohydrate that otherwise you wouldn't be taking in. So again, this is something else that you have to consider. You've got to keep the condiments to a minimum. You have to know what you're putting into your body, or else you're not going to be at a calorie deficit, which is what it's all about. And you're going to end up doing, this is why some people, I believe, have to do 2 hours of cardio, which is insane, instead of doing 30 minutes or just keeping your weights really intense, because this all adds up. As far as spices, I like Mrs. Dash. I've got to look on here to tell you what's in it. and really there's not much. You got to watch out for hidden sugars in a lot of these products. But you know, some people have to, they want their food to taste good. That's how they get it down. To me, eating is more of a function of merely giving myself fuel, so I'm able to go on and do what I have to do. So I'm not really that big on it. But all the way down the board, the only thing I can really see is 40 milligrams of potassium, which isn't going to hurt. Mrs. Dash is okay. We throw that on everything. But again, you got to watch your condiments. Even a lot of diet salad dressings. Again, they say 0 calorie, but then you've got those hidden calories from the sugars in there, and the levels aren't that high, so they don't have to list them. But you do use a whole half container, or instead of 1 tablespoon, you use 5 tablespoons. Very easy to do that. So you've got to watch that. You've got to watch the net effect of everything that you're taking in. You've got to look at your program. You've got to look at your numbers. You got to look at where you are and where you want to get to, and you've got to be honest with yourself, because again, you know, I can usually tell if somebody's not, like I said, if you're following what's been prescribed for you, you're either going to get better or get worse. Hopefully get better, but if you're staying the same, or in fact getting worse in some cases, you're doing extra. So watch the condiments, read the labels. And definitely don't go to the food store like I do sometimes when you're hungry, because you'll buy stuff that you shouldn't be eating. It's hard. Listen, getting in shape is hard. Watch your numbers. Listen to whoever it is that's helping you. And as always, go by the mirror. So that's all I have to say. Dr. Mike Deuce, MTFU Longevity Over 50, www.mtfucoach.com. Please do subscribe to my YouTube channel, MTFU Longevity Over 50, for all new daily fitness tips and exercise videos, and put your thoughts, questions, considerations down below, because they are my oxygen. I do thank you.